Each of the world's religions is named either after a particular person or after the nation in which that religion originated. For example, the name of Christianity is Christianity because it is related to Jesus. Buddhism is named Buddhism because its founder was Buddha. Zoroastrianism is named after its founder, Zoroaster. Judaism originated in a particular tribe called Judah, the same is the case with the names of other religions. But the characteristic of Islam is that it is not attributed to any person or nation. Rather, its name indicates a special attribute that is found in the meaning of the word Islam. The name itself shows that it is not the invention of a single person nor is it specific to a single nation. It has no territory from person or country or nation. Its aim is only to create the attribute of Islam in people. The true and righteous people of every age and every nation who have this quality were all Muslims, are Muslims and will be Muslims in the future. In this sense, the religion of the entire universe is Islam. Because we have stated above that obedience to God is called Islam. Sun, moon and stars are all Muslim. The land is also Muslim. Air and water and light are also Muslim. Trees, stones, and animals are also Muslims, and the person who does not recognize God and denies God, or who worships other than God and associates others with God, yes, he too has his own nature and he is a Muslim by nature because his birth, living and dying are all subject to divine law. The religion of all his organs and every hair of his body is Islam because they all form and grow and move according to divine law. Even his language is Muslim in origin, through which he unknowingly expresses the thoughts. 1:03 p.m., March 28, 2024, Adasham Jazz, meaning of the word Islam. The meaning of Islam in the Arabic language is obedience. The religion of Islam is named Islam because it is obedience to Allah. The reality of Islam. You see that everything in the world is subject to a rule and a law. The moon and the stars are all bound in one mighty rule against which they cannot move even a hair. Earth is rotating with its own particular speed. The time and speed and path prescribed for it. Water and air, light and heat, are all bound by a law. According to the law prescribed for each of the living beings, plants and animals, they all arise, grow and decline, live and die. If you consider the condition of man himself, you will know that he too is subject to the laws of nature. It breathes, receives water and food and heat and light according to the rule that has been set for its life. The movement of his heart, the circulation of his blood, the movement of his breath are bound by this regulation. His brain, his stomach, his lungs, his nerves and muscles, his hands and feet, tongue, eyes, ears and nose, so that every part of his body is doing the work that is intended for it. And doing it the way he is told. This mighty law, in whose bonds everything from the great planets to the smallest particle of the earth is bound, is the law made by a great ruler. Everything is obeying the law made by him. In this sense, the religion of the entire universe is Islam. Because we have stated above that obedience to God is called Islam. Sun, moon and stars are all Muslim. The land is also Muslim. Air and water and light are also Muslim. Trees, stones, and animals are also Muslims, and the person who does not recognize God and denies God, or who worships other than God and associates others with God, yes, he too has his own nature and he is a Muslim by nature because his birth, living and dying are all subject to divine law. The religion of all his organs and every hair of his body is Islam because they all form and grow and move according to divine law. Even his language is Muslim in origin, through which he unknowingly expresses the thoughts of polytheism and home. That head of his is also a Muslim by birth which he forcefully bows before other than God. His heart is also a Muslim by nature, in which he respects and loves others besides God due to ignorance. Because all these things are subject to God's law and their every movement is subject to God's law. Now look at it from another side. One of the status of man is that he is bound by the laws of nature like other creatures and is forced to obey them. The second condition is that he has wisdom. Has the power to think, understand, and form opinions. And he believes one thing by his own authority, and does not believe another thing. Likes one way, dislikes another. Makes a rule of his own accord in the affairs of life, or adopts a rule made by others. In this capacity, he is not bound by any fixed law among other things in the world, but he has his own thoughts, opinions and ideas. I have been given freedom of choice. These two statuses are found separately in human life. In the first place, he is a Muslim by birth along with everything else in the world and is forced to become a Muslim, as you have now learned. In the second position, to be a Muslim or not is in his discretion, and it is his discretion. Humans are divided into two classes. Let me be human. A man who recognizes his Creator, acknowledges him as his Lord and Master, and obeys his preferred law even in the optional activities of his life. It is completely Muslim. His Islam was completed. Because now his life is completely Islam. Now he deliberately became the bearer of his command, whose command he was unknowingly obeying. Now he is willingly obedient to the same God to whom he was unwillingly obedient. Now his knowledge is true because he has come to know the God who has given him the power to know and acquire knowledge. Now his intellect and opinion are correct because he has made a thoughtful decision to obey the same God who has given him the ability to think and form an opinion. Now his tongue is righteous, because he is confessing to the same God who gave him the power to speak. Now his whole life is truth because he obeys God's law in both power and powerlessness. Is bound now he is reconciled with the whole universe. Because all the things of Inat are serving him whom they are serving. Now he is the Caliph on earth, the whole world is his and he belongs to God.